the CEO of DIFC Innovation Hub, MOHAMMAD ALBLOOSHI, and Chief of Staff of BTC Inc., Brendan Green.
How's everybody doing? Woo, good. All right, so my name is Brandon Green. I'm very honored to be here with MOHAMMAD ALBLOOSHI, the CEO of the DIFC Innovation Hub. To kick us off, could you tell us a little bit about what the DIFC Innovation Hub is and what it does?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, for the ones who are visiting Dubai, I hope you guys are having a good time. I run something called DIFC Innovation Hub. DIFC stands for Dubai International Financial Center. We're actually the financial center of the city. We're a government entity that was established in 2004 with the prime mandate of diversifying Dubai's economy and developing the financial services sector for the city of Dubai. We're a bit unique in the way we're set up. We are independent and international in nature. What I mean by that, it's a physical jurisdiction of about 125 acres of land that has its own legal framework. It's actually based on English common law. It has its own regulatory framework, and it has its own court system. So it's technically a city within a city, created purely to attract foreign entities, financial institutions to come and operate out of Dubai to cover the Middle East and North African markets. Today, about 20 years into our making, I say it with a lot of pride that there wouldn't be a name from the financial services world that you can name and it's not present in the DIFC. All your top American banks, your top Chinese banks, the Indian banks, the Middle Eastern banks, everyone has their regional headquarters at the DIFC. So that's the story for the financial services sector. Now, again, given we're a government body that's responsible for developing the financial services sector, as the city of Dubai started looking at innovation and digitizing the economy, it became our responsibility to drive the future of finance, the fintech and future of finance for the city as well. So DIFC Innovation Hub is Dubai's fintech hub. Our responsibility is to develop the fintech ecosystem for the city of Dubai. It's a physical hub that has about 1,000 plus fintech startups. And yeah, we do a lot of cool things, which I'd love to talk about.
Absolutely. And so I'm from the United States, and being at a blockchain conference, seeing one of the main financial regulators here, it's a very different environment than what you receive in the United States. Could you tell me about your approach to how you are so available kind of to the folks trying to build in the region?
I think, in Dubai, we're lucky for having the leadership that we have. The approach to innovation has always been top-down. Leadership is very, focused on innovation and progression. We know this is the way forward, and this is what the economy needs. I think it was in 2014 when His Highness, the ruler of Dubai, he announced Dubai's national innovation agenda, which was to make Dubai the most smart city in the world, amongst the most smart. And I think from that time, each and every government entity has been pushing the innovation mandate in their own front. We as the IFC, as regulators, it's not a choice. I tell people, you can't just sit there and not innovate and not be willing to innovate. I think we have to look at cutting edge technologies, how the industry is emerging, and we have to try and understand and build regulatory frameworks to cope up with them. And I think if you look at every few months or every couple of years, there's a new tech in town. But I think in Dubai, we want to make sure we're at the forefront of it. And about 2016-17, there was a national blockchain agenda for the city of Dubai, and then we of course the country of UAE has a nationwide AI strategy. We were the first to have an AI minister. We have a metaverse strategy as well. So I think, and again, these strategies are mainly to of course, understand as well what's happening in these technologies and how these technologies can enhance our digital economy.
Well, that's amazing. Well, so the goal of the panel is to talk about this digital transformation of financial technology. Tell us, what are your plans to leverage, emerging technologies to fuel Dubai's digital economy?
Well, I think for each technology we have a specific strategy. We have to, as mentioned earlier, we have to look at what each technology can do for the economy. I think specifically with AI these days, I do not come across a government entity or a institution, be it a financial institution or another corporate, that is not looking at AI these days in terms of what could be the benefit or the impact of AI on their business. So I think this approach of looking at what AI could do for their business, how could it benefit for them, this mindset is there. And I think from our perspective, we want to look at these technologies and we want to leverage them to benefit our economies. I think same went for blockchain, and I think digital assets blockchain, we know this is reality and this is the way forward. So we want to make sure they're part of the mainstream financial system. We want to make sure that the right regulatory framework is there for it by leveraging technology. Absolutely.
So, the lifeblood of sort of any sort of, innovation is the startup community. Startups have to move quickly. How do you support new startups, new companies coming to market?
So I like to say within the DIFC, I represent startups. I have a community of about 1,000 startups, and I think for startups, it's been an exciting journey for us at the DIFC in Dubai. I think in 16, 17, when we just started our journey towards building a startup community, there were a lot of unknowns. I think one of the first things that we had to do, we had to go and convince our management, our leadership, that we have to look at startups differently as opposed to how we used to look at financial institutions or large corporates. These guys, I usually make a joke, I say startups want everything and they don't want to pay for it. So how can we support them? And I think, but we always knew the potential that the startup community has. So we started looking at, I usually say there are 4 things that startups need to be able to grow and foster within an economy. One, of course, you want to make sure you have the right regulatory framework for them, so that's curated towards them. Making sure that the right licenses and regulations are there. And I think in that field, Dubai is quite innovative and progressive, and we have had it, and we continue to work on it and continue to enhance it. Second thing is, of course, access to capital. Access to capital used to be a challenge. I've been in this space for about 7-8 years now. I remember the days in 2017, 2018, startups in Dubai could hardly raise $500,000 to $1 million, and I used to see companies in other parts of the world raising $20 million, $30 million rounds. I used to envy them, but touch wood, that's not the case anymore. We ourselves did a lot of work in kind of building that investment, let's say, investment community within Dubai as well, which was by government putting its own skin into the game. We ourselves have created a fund where we ourselves invest into startups, but also how do we attract more capital into Dubai as well? How do we enable family offices to invest in this asset class? How do we attract? How do we enable or ensure global VCs are deploying capital into startups over here? So that, I mean, if you look at the amount of money deployed in the regional startups, it is quite impressive. So capital is no longer an issue. Access to market is the third thing which is required for startups, and access to market. The governments, private entities are quite progressive. They want to partner, and there is a lot of programs by the DIFC, by the Dubai Future Foundation, by many other government entities that actually give startups access to market. The fourth, the most important, which has been and is, I think, is talent, access to talent. I think talent is the most crucial part for any startup to succeed. and Dubai's emergence as a global talent hub is just is cherry on top. I think over the last few years we've been able to attract so many startups, and the prime reason they've moved to Dubai is because Dubai is kind of becoming this global talent hub. You can import talent into Dubai from anywhere in the world, and it's probably the easiest, the fastest. And I think the government, of course, has done a great job when it comes to enabling talent and becoming a hub for talent with schemes like Golden Visa, with schemes like remote work visa, and the likes. And of course, the quality of living is attractive, the standard of living is good, people like to live over here, they like to work over here. I think that has played a really crucial role. And I think even from our perspective at DIFC, one thing that I remember we had to do, we had to convince our management that when it comes to regulating or licensing startups, it has to be different than how we regulate corporates. These guys do not have the same amount of capital, do not have the same same know-how. So when it comes to regulating them, you can't regulate a fintech startup the way you regulate a bank. Now, yes, there's always the debate about a level playing field, but can't we just give them 6 to 12 months? Just be accommodating for the first 6 to 12 months. Hence, we have sandboxes that has enabled that.
That's amazing. Yeah. So tell me then, slightly pivoting, you touched on this a little bit earlier. What is the role of blockchain, AI, my passion's Bitcoin, in the DIFC strategy for financial technology development over the next few years?
Well, I think, as mentioned, and I don't think now anyone can disagree that this is going to be part of the financial landscape for good. Blockchain and digital assets and cryptocurrencies, they're here to stay. Our role as the IFC is to make sure that we're developing the financial services sector, and we're enabling the future of finance. And we are quite firm on this position that this is going to be part of the future of finance. So how do we make sure that the right regulatory framework is there in place in the DIFC in Dubai for them to operate out of? How do we also enable traditional, conventional players to look into this technology and to use the IFC as a test bed? We have, some of the global corporates, they're actually, because our regulatory framework is attractive, they're doing, using the IFC as a test bed to build their digital asset capabilities that could be exported to other markets. So we want, of course, new players to look at the IFC as a jurisdiction. We want conventional players that want to look into digital assets, they could also look at the IFC as a jurisdiction. From our perspective, we want to make sure we give them a home, we give them the right infrastructure.
Amazing. Similar question, metaverse was a term that was thrown around for years, maybe making a little bit of resurgence. How do you guys view that?
I think for metaverse, and I'll come to AI as well, metaverse, it's very clear. I mean, this is a technology that will be part of our future. Now, how does that look from 10 years from today? We don't know. I don't know. But we do agree it would play a role in some way or form. And we as government, we realize, and our partners also realize that, and hence they want to test, they want to see what can be done. We ourselves at the DIFC Innovation Hub, we ran an accelerator program where we had our partners, a lot of our partners came to us, they said, okay, what can we do in the metaverse space? I had a bank that wanted to create a digital branch, a branch actually in the metaverse space, and they actually wanted to do commercial transactions in the metaverse. So I think we usually do an investor day, and our investor day we did it in the metaverse. So we've tried. We know that this is going to be crucial. How that evolves, we're yet to see. And hence I think metaverse, Web3, AI. I think it all kind of comes together at some point. We have recently announced Dubai's AI and Web3 campus as well. We're building an entire campus which is dedicated to building this ecosystem, because we believe it's so big and it's going to play a crucial role for the digital economy.
That's amazing. So, we've got about a minute left. This is a room full of entrepreneurs, builders, maybe many of them coming to Dubai for the first time. Let's say they fall in love while they're here. How do they get started? How do they build their company here? How do they move here?
Well, if you're not in love, you gotta fall in love with Dubai. I think it's the place to be. But if you're an entrepreneur, you want to. There's so much for you guys. There's so many, of course, events such as this, great events that are happening where you can network and get a pulse of the market. If you want to speak to governments, please reach out to us. Reach out to DIFC. Reach out to Dubai Economy and Tourism Department. Any other jurisdiction you want to speak to, and take a step forward. I'm sure you'll find it worthwhile.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.